49, Brad?
I don't. That's not my thing. You
49's
name
a
every episode
big number.
1868 weekly live stream. You don't give it a number.
This is 49.
No, but it matters for the podcast.
I know.
No, this is episode 48.
Mm,
Oh, good, because if it was 49, I'd have to shut it off because I'm not a 49ers fan.
All right.
same.
All right.
But my phone's at 49%.
I don't care what your
let's
phone's
check
at,
that.
Brad.
Throw your
All
phone
right.
on the ground. Throw it on the ground.
All right, so YouTube's working. We're all good. We're all good to go.
I haven't gotten it yet.
Oh my
honestly.
God, Brad.
Wait, hold on. You have the power to control YouTube?
Yeah, dude.
Like, you're like YouTube on.
All it takes is a button. All it takes is one button.
All right.
It's
seems
actually
to
like
be
a light.
working.
I wish I had a microphone hanging. This will be my microphone.
John, your screen is like super duper.
What's
Hold
up?
on.
Your screen is like super duper like widescreen mode.
And then your guys' aren't, right? Yeah, I don't know why. That's just how the host is. See, look,
All right.
look how
Is my
zoomed
microphone work?
into Chris's head we are.
Hey, is my microphone working? Can you hear?
All right. We're gonna start.
All right, let's start it.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode number 48 of 1868 Weekly. I am your host, John Macluso. Today, joined by Brad Polonsky, Pal in the Sky. How you doing, Brad?
I'm doing awesome. It's a Tuesday, I guess, this week.
Yeah, it's a Tuesday. I pushed it back a day further because I invited our guest a little late, and he accepted. For some reason, he wants to be on the show with us. I don't know why. Matt's not here. Instead, we have Matt 2.0, and that's going to be Chris Malinab. Chris, how you doing?
Good, man.
Good.
Hey, we're only like 20 minutes late. It's cool.
We're only 20 minutes late. It's all Brad's fault, even though I was the one who took so long. As you can see behind Chris, there is a wonderful sunset. Where are you, Chris? Your exact location so people can come say hi.
I'm in the chateau
The chateau.
on the corner of Lake and 2nd Street. At the Harris.
Is that like that is actually very specific? I mean, I was just kidding, but that works out.
Do you want my coordinates? I can send you my my nautical coordinates.
I think you can actually really find those if you just like go to Apple Maps. I'm pretty sure it just shows you straight up coordinates. I was totally gonna look up mine and be like, oh yeah, here they are, and then I realized that that's my location. So anyway, Chris, it's great to have you. We've had you on before, and for those of you that don't know, this is a Reno 1868 podcast, and Chris happens to be the assistant coach of Reno 1868 FC. So if you don't know that, you should probably start watching the show a lot more, and maybe do some research on your team. So all right, today we got some fun stuff to talk about. We got a draw from Saturday to talk about, and then we've got an upcoming match, and I'm really happy to have you on here for this, Chris, because this is the big match. This is, well, the second big match, I guess. This is Vegas. We don't like Vegas up here in Northern Nevada. We give you a whole lot of crap, Chris, for being a fan of Sacramento, but we can't have you coming from Vegas. So you could be happy about that. You're not from Vegas, so that's great. That's fantastic.
I actually never knew like this big rivalry between Vegas and Reno until I got here last year. And they're like, no, we don't call it UNR. No, you don't wear red here. I was like, whoa, what is this? Like gang territory? Like Bloods and Crips, or what's going on here?
Did it surprise you?
Yeah, it surprised me.
Yeah. Why?
Because I didn't think there was like there's 2 colleges in the entire state. I figured they'd be like friends.
No, that's not how it works.
What friends do you have?
Well, it's like it's Nevada and then UNLV. There's
Nevada
no
State Southern.
Yeah.
Hey, that's pretty awesome actually. If you think about it, like Reno has taken up. We're the whole state, and UNLV you can have Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I compare that to like the Warriors in basketball. They claim the entire Golden State. It's not even just Oakland. They're the Golden State Warriors.
Exactly. That's why they're trying so hard to be called Nevada Southern. Is because they're upset because we're Nevada and they're just UNLV.
Oh.
So really, we've got the best college in the Silver State, Chris. We also have the best soccer team, but we'll get to that. Don't worry. I know that you can't say as much about that kind of stuff as we can because you got to be humble. we get it. So we're gonna talk about this UNLV match, and then we'll talk about really nothing else on the docket. I mean, we'll go into random stuff. Maybe some conspiracy theories are always Chris's jam. Fun fact: Brad does not know about the Michael Jordan conspiracy theory, so I think that might be something we can talk about. And then, of course, any other soccer shenanigans or sports shenanigans. I still owe Chris lunch, which it's got to be paid off eventually.
Yeah.
But we'll handle that some other time. For now, let's go ahead and recap this match against the El Paso Locomotive. Brad, what in your area down there with the Battleborn Brigade? Your parents came. I do want to point that out. I really appreciate them giving me that Stein, because those Steins are legit. Like, I thought they were just going to be plastic, but those are legit ceramic. Anyway, how was your time?
I mean, my parents are very bored of soccer because, sometimes a game can end 0-0, and I'm like, it's going to be a good game, guys, come out to this game. There should at least be a goal, and then 0-0. And, it's funny because my parents, although not huge soccer fans, and although definitely don't like the whole drums and stuff, they enjoyed it. It was just a nice night out. But as soon as we had that looked like a goal but definitely was offside scenario, my parents are sitting there cheering, and I'm just pointing at the side official there, and I'm like, don't cheer too loud, like, man. I guess 0-0 is probably the best thing we could have gotten, given that our defense was rock solid, and by that I mean JT had 9 saves. The offense has got to figure it out, though. It can't just be Brent Richards to Danny Mazovsky, which has been like our kind of go-to bread and butter for the last month or so.
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't sure if it sounded like you were about to follow.
Yeah, no, that was me done.
Yeah, no, our defense was pretty great. I mean, JT, you can't really say much more about him. I mean, the dude is USL Player of the Week. So we'll be hearing from him a very shadowed and dark, almost Dark Knight version of JT a little bit later in our interviews. But yeah, he played a really great game. I thought Duke, as usual, pushed the pace, and yeah, I mean, it's not a game that I walked away from where I was like, oh, I'm so disappointed at that draw. No, it was hard fought. El Paso was a good team, and I think before we played them, they beat Fresno, which is an accomplishment. So we weren't playing a team that was gonna lay down, and I think they're fighting for playoff position as well. So yeah, I mean, hard fought game on both sides. Sometimes you're gonna have to just tell your parents. Sometimes scores don't always happen, especially when teams are as defensively sound as these two teams that played on Saturday. And I had another thing I wanted to say. At the end of the match in the interviews, Ian, as you guys will hear, pointed out the fact that it felt like a playoff game, and in my opinion, it definitely seemed it had that playoff feel to it. Now we're gonna get a different perspective from Chris. Chris, obviously, a lot more in the weeds of soccer than you, Brad, and I are as fans. What did you think about the match, Chris?
No, I thought it was pretty evenly played. El Paso's a good team. They're a good side. They obviously gave us trouble earlier in the year when we went down to El Paso. Didn't get the result we wanted, but they play well. They've actually they're probably one of the better possessing teams in the league, and we were able to outpossess them this time at home. And so it was very much like a playoff game. Both teams were trying to feel each other out, not taking too many chances, too many risks, and you're going to kind of see that this part of the season where teams are trying to protect points, right? And so both teams trying to walk away with a draw, or them trying to walk away with a draw. We were trying to push, I think, a little bit more, but to get 3, but without obviously opening ourselves up to a counter goal or anything like that. So I think that's going to be something common as these last 2-3 games are played, is that you're going to see more teams, if they know that they're going to keep themselves in the playoff by having a point or staying in the top 4 or whatever it is. I think you're going to see more, I guess, just being more conservative rather than, just going 100 miles per hour trying to score a goal.
What are some things that you saw on the field on Saturday that you kind of hope changes in time for the match in Vegas?
Obviously, is finishing our chances. But I think overall, I thought we played well. We kept the ball. We had some good combinations. Obviously, we made some subs, and it changed the game in a positive way. So that's always good to see. Players come on and affect the game. We created a couple chances after our substitutions in the second half. So really, it's just finishing our chances. I think we had a couple good looks, and in the playoffs, that's all you might have is 1 or 2 looks. And if we can finish those, then I think we'll be fine. Going into this Vegas, and then obviously to close off the season against Tulsa.
Right. So we'll hear from some of the other guys I interviewed. I don't think I pointed it out to you or I said anything to you guys earlier, but it's going to be Corey Herzog, JT Marcinkowski, who is the USL Player of the Week, and then of course Coach Ian Russell. But in these interviews, pressure came up a lot, especially because you guys have secured a playoff spot, Chris, and so that's not. Reaching playoffs is no longer a concern, right? So my question to you though is that I was kind of we were kind of joking a little bit earlier about how much more it means for Reno and Renoans or Renoites, whichever you like to call them, to beat Vegas. We do not like losing to Vegas. Do you feel like there's any additional pressure there?
The pressure, I don't. Maybe my look at it's a little different. Is influenced on a former head coach of mine, but I honestly don't see pressure. I don't think there's pressure in any games. I mean, at the end of the day, it's sports, right? It's entertainment is what we're doing. So I don't think there's pressure. I think I think we're fortunate enough to have meaningful games, and it's just about performing on that day and implementing the things that Ian wants us to implement. Come kickoff. So, I don't, for me and kind of on the same note, but not on the same note, pressure is not, I think that's personally, I think an overused term in sports. Pressure is a doctor in the emergency room trying to save someone's life. It's a firefighter having to run in and save a person, in a burning building. So, in regards to sports, I think the word pressure is a little bit overused in that way. So for me, I think it's just performing and applying and executing what Ian has in the game plan for us. And obviously us as assistant coaches helping implement that. Like I said, come kickoff time at 7:30.
Right. That's it's a cool, very different answer than what you would normally get. I mean, many guys would probably say no, just straight up. I think that's what one of the interviewees this week said, just no. Now I don't really feel much pressure, which is solid. But okay, Brad, I think I really want to spend most of the episode because of the rivalry talking about Vegas. So are there any points you want to bring up or any thoughts you have on this match?
On this match specifically, no. On stuff around the league, I guess I can cover later. Because this was, I guess, probably one of the more interesting weekends talking about playoffs and what's going to happen coming forward. Tacoma beat a team that we needed them to beat. I guess that's my little teaser for that later on. Cool. As for this game, really, I wish we finished some of the chances we got. I feel kind of happy that we had a goalie with 9 saves. And even so, a defense that kind of stood up when they needed to. Jen Jiggins' mom said hi to me at the end of the game. I don't think I told anybody. She kind of just walked up to me after the game and was like, "Hey, you're Brad. I've watched the podcast." And I'm like, "Oh, hey." Jen Jiggins played well in my opinion in this game, and so it was just a nice experience, a nice day at the party.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Glad to hear it. I mean, I don't have any thoughts really more than what I've said. I'm pretty happy with the point. The team fought for it, and yeah, some of the chances weren't finished, but sometimes that happens in soccer. Sometimes that happens in sports. So really, I'm pretty happy with the point, and of course, wish it were 3, but it happens. I'm not disappointed about it. I think that the team played well, and I think that the Locomotive are better than people give them credit for. And yeah, that's it. Chris, do you have any final thoughts you want to share on this match?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, just overall, as far as the table's concerned, and I think you guys will probably touch on it, that you really can't sleep on anyone in this conference. I think it's so important. I think people just look at Phoenix. Obviously, Phoenix did a really, really remarkable thing, with their winning streak. But if you look at teams across the board, you really can't go, oh, that's, we hope we get that team in a playoff. Now, there's certain teams that I think we would match up better with, but no one's going to have a cakewalk in the playoff, or even in these final 2 or 3 games that teams have left. I think sometimes when you play a bottom of the table team, they almost have nothing to lose, as far as they're losing a playoff spot, and so they can play spoiler. And I think you'll probably see a couple more of those in the next 2 weeks.
Cool. Yeah, and we'll definitely talk a little bit more about what the playoff picture looks like, Brad. I think that's a really important topic, definitely. For now, though, guys, I want to share these interviews. It's about 5 minutes, Chris, so you can just hang out for 5 minutes, but and probably watch these to make sure that nobody is saying anything that you wouldn't say. No, don't worry, Kevin's
That's
there.
what Kevin's for.
Yeah, Kevin's there to babysit us. It's okay.
Kevin's probably watching right now, anyways.
So yeah, without further ado, here in order, it's going to be Ian Russell, Corey Herzog, and JT Marcinkowski in The Darkness. So here we go.
It was a good game. I think the fans probably enjoyed it. I think the players did. I enjoyed it as a coach for the simple fact that I thought we played well. We worked hard. We pressed them. Thought we did what we planned to do. I thought we could have scored a couple goals, but they had some chances too. So maybe it draws a good result. JT's been good all year. The back four's been good. Pretty much throughout the year, there were some rough patches in there, which every team goes through. But I think the back four's been solid. Like I said, we pressed them, which is going to put a lot of strain on our back four, and I think they handled it really well. Excited to go to Las Vegas. Fun place to play, good atmosphere. Traditionally, we play well there. So should be a fun game. I think the guys, we already talked about it. We're going to prepare for them. We try to exploit things that we see that they're not strong at, and see if we can get some points down there. We're comfortable at home. It's a hard place to play. Traditionally, we have a really good record at home. Good fan base. We have altitude here, which makes it hard to play. It's also beneficial when we go play other places on the road. We're at sea level. And that's why I think one of the reasons we have such a great road record is we actually feel sometimes stronger on the road. Yeah, I think with Zach, it's mainly Zach, as we know, has been a captain for a long time, a very good player for us. It's just about trying to figure out the best combination going in the playoffs with our center backs, and he's a great pro. He's been very, he wants to play. He wants to play. He's competing at practice every day. And as we get close to the playoffs, I got to make tough decisions, and we'll see where we go with that.
I mean, it's good. You always have a shutout. I mean, we need to score goals to win games, but I mean, it's good going into playoffs, having a shutout against a good team like that. So it's kind of like a playoff game. Just trying to get as many points as possible. We really want that second place, but I mean, most importantly, we want a home playoff game, because anything can happen after that. So we're just really focused on that. But we're happy where we are. We always want to get second and try to get to second place, so we play Phoenix in the Western Final, if that would happen. But no, I mean, there's always pressure in every game, but we're just getting ready for playoffs, and that's our main focus. We'll win the game. I mean, I can't say that, but we want the 3 points. We always want to beat Vegas. I mean, with the rivalry, it's on the field too, and we want the fans to be happy. So we're going to go in there and try to get 3 points for you guys. We want to get as many home games as possible, because, I mean, playing here, we win games here. So we don't want to have to travel on the road to another team, and not as many fans, not with their families, like sleeping in hotels and all that. So as many home games as you can get. I mean, we'd love all 3, but we'll see what we get. And I think Danny had 9 goals this month and all that with our outside backs and that. So once we get on that page, and it's a good time to start clicking now, like 2 games out of playoffs, we keep that going and just keep scoring goals.
you're a pretty competitive guy. Do you feel like you're like, oh, Danny got 9, I got to shoot for 10 this month?
Oh, no. As long as one of us is scoring, we're winning games in that. So, I mean, we have a great relationship on and off the field. So we don't care who scores as long as we win the game.
Solid defensively. Really good team effort, performance, and the guys run themselves into the ground, and kind of that's all you can ask for. Obviously, we wanted to finish a few more chances, but I think there's a lot of positives we can take away from the game. I think it was just a whole team effort that was really positive. I think the first 10 minutes, I think we were a bit lackadaisical on the ball and off the ball, but after that, I thought it was next 80 minutes, 85 minutes was great. So much effort put in by the guys. They were cramping up, they were doing all this stuff, but sacrificing for each other, and that's what makes a winning team. I think it goes also to like the performance staff. So Steve, Adam, Ian, they all do a great job of keeping the guys fit, healthy, and ready to go. But also, I think when we've had injuries, we've had a lot of people step in and perform really well. Yeah, I mean, obviously 2 away games, but 2 good environments to play in. I think Vegas is always a good little rivalry match, and it's really easy to get up for. And then away at Tulsa, I think we played there last year. We tied them 0-0, so hopefully we can get a win there. I'm really excited. Obviously, any chance you can to represent your country, obviously it's a huge honor for me, and very fortunate to be there, but hopefully you can take this momentum of pretty good result, clean sheet, and kind of just keep working towards hopefully the Olympics next year. Well, I think obviously with the home crowd that we have, they're obviously great. Every home game they come out, they support, they cheer loud, and so any time you can have a playoff game at home, it's a huge honor, and I don't think we've had one in the 3 years. I don't think we've had one at home yet, so hopefully we can do that and play really well for the fans.
I asked Bersano once if he thought that he could catch lightning, and I'm going to ask you that same question because today you had 9 saves. 9 saves. Can you catch lightning, JT?
I think the defense played really well in front of me. I was just trying to do my job. Obviously, when they got through them a little bit, I just trying to do it for them.
Sounds like a yes. Yeah.
No.
All right, so those are the post-match interviews this week. I know I neglected to tell Malinab here that you got to watch YouTube in order to hear it. So sorry about that, Chris. But the last question I asked JT, and Brad, I don't know if you were watching or playing Borderlands 3, but I asked JT if he could catch lightning. I don't know, Chris, if you watched an episode along, it was like at the beginning of the season, but I'm sure, Brad, you remember. I asked Matt Bersano the same question. And JT gave all the credit to the defense. He didn't say yes. And then at the end, after he answered, I said, "That's a yes, right, JT?" And he's like, "No." So like the most humble guy ever, as far as media is concerned.
Would it be considered catching lightning if you're standing there with a metal rod and it hits the rod?
I think so, because technically it's still in your hand, right?
Yeah.
But I think and pun intended, I think the catch is that you'd have to survive. So there's this crazy story out of Texas. This man was just walking his dogs, right, and he got struck by lightning in his foot, and it like burned like the sole off his foot, and he just passed out and hit the pavement. So, but he like recovered. Luckily, he was just outside of a vet's office, so they were able to like resuscitate him and everything. But anyway, that's crazy. Anyway, that has nothing to do with JT Marcinkowski. Player of the week, everybody, for USL. 9 saves. Yeah, really stoked for him. So great job, JT. Keep it up. We're proud of you. We're also happy that you'll be playing for the U23s again. That's exciting. And yeah, without further ado, guys, I think we can start talking about this match with our rivals from the South. Brad, what are you gonna do if Reno just for some reason can't pull through?
I mean, unless it's by 5 goals differential that we lose, the Silver State Cup stays up here for another year. Our last match against them was a 4-0 Schlabberknocker, where I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but Raul Mendiola had a goal in that last game versus Vegas. So, unless it's 5-0 Vegas wins, because they're playing for a playoff spot, they're that unhinged animal. They've looked pretty good recently, but unless they can, make some magic like that, I think it's pretty safe to say we got the Silver State Cup coming back up here.
So, Chris, you mentioned the fact that every team that we play from here on out, there's something to consider, right?
Yep.
No team's going to be a pushover. So with Vegas, what is the thing that you and Ian and Casey are on the lookout for?
Well, obviously they're gonna try to score goals because it's a really meaningful match for them, just like it is for us. And so, I expect them to put a lot of attacking or offensive minded players on the field and really try to go to goal. I think this is going to be a game that they're really going to look to push forward and counterattack and try to draw fouls and free kicks and things like that. That's kind of their thing. Even the recent game against San Antonio, if you watch that game, I mean they were looking to get numbers forward, and so I think you'll see the same thing here because them getting 3 points is critical for their push for the playoffs, and then us obviously our 3 points as well is going to be critical for us to be able to pass Fresno and try to get to that number 2 spot in the rankings. And so both teams I think are going to be going at each other. Obviously, we're going to try to implement what we work on, and everything's just a guess on what Vegas is going to try to do. But I think with them kind of being on the outside looking in, it's going to be important for them to score goals.
Mm-hmm. Brad, are you traveling down to Vegas for this match?
Yeah, I'll be driving 6 hours down on Saturday morning and 6 hours back or 7. Isn't it more like a 7-hour drive?
Yeah, I think 7.
I've never done the drive. Everybody tells me it's terrible. All my roommates are from Vegas. They say this is like the worst drive ever. I'm gonna learn firsthand, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I plan on 14 hours, 15 hours of driving in both directions combined, just to stay in a city for like less than 24 hours.
Yeah. Are you taking anybody?
I've offered out my ride for people if they need a ride down.
Yeah, for sure.
In other words, no one wants to ride with Brad.
All by
Oh,
myself.
that's Brad's way of saying, yeah, you're probably right, Chris.
It's okay. I'll entertain myself
But,
for some hours.
But there are still a lot of people going, right? Like Matt.
Oh yeah,
Matt's in Disneyland right now. He'll be coming from the south, so he'll be hitting up this match on his way back.
I wouldn't say coming up from the south. I would probably say coming up from Southern California. The South?
Is that the same thing coming
No,
up from
it's
Southern
not.
California?
The South and Southern California are two different places.
So you're saying that the South in this case would be like Texas the South or like Alabama the South.
Yeah.
That's like the Southeast. We're talking about the Southwest.
Oh my golly.
Yeah, I mean
one of you guys is talking
technically
geography. One of you guys is talking geography. The other one's talking cardinal directions. You're both right. Stop.
All right. Anyway, he'll be showing up with his Mickey Mouse ears, and we have some surprises for Vegas. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but a lot of Reno fans will be there. Chris, do you think that all of these fans traveling down will help bolster the team?
Oh, absolutely. I think I kind of just look at any time that we've played on the road where there's fans, it definitely gives us energy. It makes us go, wow, people are following us. Let's give them a show, and I think Sacramento was a good one. Obviously we went down and then, come back and score 4 goals, and we had a pretty good group that, made it over the pass for that one. And yeah, I think the fans, anytime we get any fans in the stands that are cheering us, the guys definitely, get that extra energy, that extra motivation because it's right there. Like we know that we're supported, every single game, win, loss, or draw. But I think when you see it and when you hear it in an away stadium, it just kind of reminds you that, wow, there's people that are really, really supporting us there.
Mm-hmm. And Brad, I want to try playing like a little bit of a game, and I want to see how you do. And I'll play it too, so that Chris can tell us that we both suck. But I want to hear your keys of the game. So what Reno needs to do to walk out of this match with 3
All right.
points.
All right. So my first key to the game is limit Irvin Para. The man has 15 goals on the season and 7 assists. Both of them are league team highs. He has the most goals for his team and the most assists for his team. So limit Irvin Para.
Okay. That's fine.
How many are you looking
We're
for?
going for 3, sir.
Oh, we're going
Yeah,
for
we're
3.
going for 3.
Okay.
In your defense, I've got 2 in my brain, and I'm just gonna make one up on the fly.
So why didn't you go first?
Well, because I'm the host, and I get to choose who goes first.
Yeah.
All right. I guess my second thing is, you know, I'll choose from what Chris said. Put on a show for the fans that are traveling.
Okay.
Play with that confidence that we've seen the team play with a lot earlier in the season. When they're confident, when they're being creative, that ends up making the team look good. Finally, this one actually is like legit. Figure out how to pass the ball in the midfield and in the final third. It seems like, and I'm not pointing any fingers at any specific players from any specific team being loaned, but we seem to turn the ball over a lot in the midfield. I want to see that limited this game, just because I want to see the ball. The possession's good, but if we turn the ball over sillily, we just end up not having more goals scored or not getting ourselves the opportunities. We can pass along the back line as much as we want, but if we can't move the ball forward, if we can't keep the ball, then the other team's going to get chances that we're going to be giving up.
Yeah. So my number 1 is probably score first. I got hit with an interesting stat from the stat master Kevin Bass, and that is that when Reno has gotten, I think it's Chris, you might know, so correct me if I'm wrong, but when Reno gets scored on first and only scores 1 goal in return, we haven't won a game. I think Reno's 0-5-3 if memory serves.
Well, okay, let's think about this.
Okay.
If we give up a goal and we only score 1, the best we can do is a tie.
Well, no, okay. So I meant at minimum, like if giving up, like I'm trying to think of how to say. So we don't score first. The other team scores first, right?
Got it. Yeah.
So maybe that's what I meant to say. So when we don't score first, and then I don't know, something like that. Can you call Kevin up? No, I'm just kidding. But it's something like that. When Reno needs to score first to win this match. I think that's it for me. No matter how you want to phrase it, no matter what our record is.
Wait, what? Hold on. What was the record that Kevin gave you?
0-5-3.
That's false because we were down 1-0 to Sac.
Okay, so don't Kevin's stat might not be false, but how I'm saying it is probably false. Because yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna let it go for now. But I think let's just say I'm wrong. That's fine.
It probably is the case.
Yeah, it probably is because Kevin knows his stuff. So I forgot to switch the camera. Sorry, Brad.
Because we also
I was gonna say something.
because we also went down 1-0 to Oklahoma City on the road and we won 3-2.
Okay, so that's not the stat. I'm kind of curious about this stat now, so I'm actually going to shoot him a text. But my key stands. Reno needs to score first. Reno needs to keep possession, and I did pull another thing out of my butt, Chris, but I can't remember what it was because of all this kerfuffle. So, of course, execute chances. There were so many opportunities for Reno to score on Saturday that were just so close. There was a header from Danny in the second half that was just slightly to the right. So a few opportunities, and Reno needs to capitalize on these opportunities. So, Chris, incorrect stat aside or whatever, the stat doesn't really matter. What are your 3 keys to a Reno victory here?
Really, there's just one. Keys to the game.
Cool.
Key to the game. Score more goals in Vegas.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's a cop out.
Okay.
What's the main objective of the game of soccer?
Yeah.
What's the main objective?
Score more goals. It's the same in any sport. All right. Well, you know what? I feel like this build up between Brad and I was for nothing now. So
No, it was good. You guys had good keys. You guys
Cool.
had good keys to the game.
all right, cool.
Hire me in.
Yeah. Now I feel like you're just being nice. You're probably like, I'm gonna wait until John hits that stop streaming button, and I'm gonna tell him how much their analysis really sucks.
No, it's
Which
good.
is
I think it's good. Obviously, capitalize on chances, which is important. Keep the ball, which is critical. And then, what was the other one? Put on a show.
Yeah, I don't know. That was Brad.
Yeah, that was mine. I said possession and limit Irvin Para.
Yeah. No, I think that's. Obviously, always want to limit the opposing team's goal scorer, and he's their leading goal scorer. So, no, I think Brad's pretty spot on. I stopped listening, John. Honestly, I stopped listening to you after you started making up stats.
I didn't make okay. I maybe have put together a couple wrong stats, but I you know what? I don't know what to tell you, man. I'll have you guys know. You guys probably see me looking down. I'm texting Kevin right now.
Hey, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start a change.org. I'm gonna change who should be the host of the show.
Oh, after all I've done, Chris Malinab. That's
What have you done?
beautiful. I built this show from the bottom up, man.
From the bottom up.
From the bottom up. Way back when it was Sportscast Weekly. Hurt.
You should have kept that a Sportscast Weekly.
You think I shouldn't be covering the soccer team?
No, you should cover the soccer team, but Sportscast Weekly allows us to cover like kayaking,
so
bocce ball.
Fun fact, the podcast started at Sportscast Weekly, and I got no listeners, Chris, none. Like I would have one a month maybe. So I narrowed it down to 1868 Weekly, and now it's a lot more than that. So
you know what we should do? We should catfish people. Call it like 1868 Daily, and then just talk about different things.
Like things not soccer related.
Yeah.
Sounds like there's a rival podcast sprumming from within the organization.
No, it'd be a partnership.
A rival podcast by the same people.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Well, Chris, Brad, I don't know if you know, but Chris is the idea master. Like this guy's pushed so many ideas my way.
I can't wait to hear about this Michael Jackson idea.
Wait,
factor.
Michael
Jordan. Sorry, Michael Jordan.
I mean,
that one we talked about that already. Though. We
haven't talked about it yet. That's a to talk about later on.
I think there's a whole documentary about Jordan.
There's actually a whole podcast on that. Someone else asked me about conspiracy theories.
Wait, on Michael Jackson or Michael Jordan or
Michael Jordan
in general? Okay.
The frozen envelope, 1985 NBA draft.
Yeah, let's do this. All right, let's just do this. We'll get back to Vegas here in a sec.
No. They'll finish the soccer stuff and then.
All right, fine. We'll finish the soccer stuff.
You got to finish strong. You know what I mean?
Right, so I don't know if you could take part in this next part, Chris. But every episode we predict the match. So Brad, go ahead and predict the match. Who we got scoring and how many goals we got? What's the final score?
Man, I want.
Chris has already made fun of us. We're already in this too deep. So just do what you can.
All right. I got a 5-0 scoreline. We're going bold this week. 5-0. I think we can one up from earlier this year. Embarrass a team that needs to win or not lose to make playoffs. 5-0. I got Mendiola with a hat trick. I got
Mendiola, huh?
Yeah, I want to see Mendiola. I just want to see Mendiola embarrass Vegas, and I got Corey and Danny each with one.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so I've got I'm a little bit more modest than Brad here. I got a 3-1 win for Reno. I've got Corey Herzog, Brent Richards. Put that in the sheet, Chris. Brent Richards, he's gonna score on Saturday, and then man, I gotta go with Duke. Like I love Duke. Chris. So I've got.
You got two wingbacks scoring.
Yes, exactly, and I feel it. I feel it in my jellies. All right, Chris, you can say no. Do you have a prediction?
No.
Okay, that's fair.
I try to stay away from anything that could motivate an opponent or
sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. Are we like awful? Are we just awful hosts on this talk? Should this just be our last episode, Chris?
No, never. 'Cause I like coming on here.
That sounded like sarcasm.
I
like
no,
having you
no.
on.
I think you guys are, obviously you guys see the game and the team from a different angle, and I think as fans of it, you guys have every right to throw up numbers that you want, make up stats, do whatever you guys want.
Look, I've got Kevin like texting me back. You see the bubbles?
Yeah.
Oh wait, they went. Of course, they went away when I show you guys. He's
No, we
probably
saw.
We saw part of it.
Yeah, he's texting me back. So
John, here's a stat. Just making this one up.
Oh, shit.
75% success rate when I play tic-tac-toe and start with the middle square.
You know what?
That assumes you're starting all the time.
No, it doesn't. He said that. He said when he starts in the middle one. So that's a pretty good record. That's a pretty good record. But you know what we have to do with records? We're putting mine to the test right now. I texted Kevin. So we're gonna have to put that to the test, Chris.
Can we just have him on?
Kevin?
Yeah.
I mean, he could call in. But I don't know if he'd want. He's been on Sportscast Weekly.
What'd he talk about?
Like another fun fact, I've known Kevin for a while.
Interesting.
Yeah, he graduated a year after me at UNR. So
that's cool.
He was on the podcast when it was a general sports podcast.
It's Nevada.
It's Nevada. No, it's only Nevada when
UNR.
we're talking about sports, by the way.
That sounds like a really exciting conversation between the two of you guys. Hey, Kevin, you want to hang out? Yeah, what do you want to do?
Join my podcast.
All right. So, are you on YouTube, Brad?
Yeah, I am.
Do we have any comments?
No.
Okay, no Roy or anything. All right. Okay, so send us in your predictions before Saturday. We've got to get Matt's, and I will continue to win. If nobody wins other than me this week, I'm going to win. I don't know if people understand that. So
I've kind of thrown away my prediction.
If nobody wins, then you win.
Yeah.
Well,
so
he has
we
a 2-game lead. Well, no, we got playoffs.
Playoffs?
Yeah, playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs. Playoffs? No, are we counting playoffs?
Yeah, that's part of the season. It's part of the league.
Right. It's not technically. It's not part of the season though. That's why.
Okay,
it's
it's
regular
post-season.
Yeah, post after
season.
Look up synonyms for
it-
post. What kind of what have we become? Where we're talking about all these semantics and numbers and
Hey, I feel like
pronunciations and
it probably only
south
happens when
means
I'm a
southwest
guest on the
or
show.
southeast.
Oh no, it happens all the
Yeah,
time.
it kind of does. Except Matt's pretty good at reining us in. I think is what happens now.
Boo, Matt. Matt needs to go to Disneyland more often.
Now it's just anarchy and chaos.
Hey, let's just start a GoFundMe so Matt can go every week when there's a show.
I don't think he can play.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think he'd mind that too much.
Actually, that's probably good.
I was
huh?
gonna say actually let's start a GoFundMe for all of us to go to Disneyland every week. I think that's
Oh, we do this
a
show.
better idea.
It'd probably be frowned upon if I didn't go to practice every Tuesday because I was at Disneyland.
What about Monday?
Yeah, what about every other day but Tuesday?
It'd probably be frowned upon if I missed any day of practice to go to Disneyland.
Well, what about Wednesday?
Oh, Wednesday would work.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right. All right, so let's I think we're good on Vegas unless we want do you guys have any like final thoughts on this Vegas matchup? Maybe something to boost fans' confidence, Chris. Although
No, I think I think overall, I think Vegas is definitely a fun place to play. You know, they've got a very unique stadium and strong support group. So I think our supporters will. I think their energy level will be up too, just because of obviously when there's two good supporters groups. I think the energy in a positive way can feed off of each other. You know, I think the one I obviously I see a lot of is the one in Sacramento. With their supporters group and our supporters group, I think it's a healthy rivalry. You know, I think the energy is good in Las Vegas, and so I think with our supporters group that make the trip down, it should just be a fun evening for them.
Cool. And Brad,
got a rhetorical question for Chris. How many San Jose players are we looking at having this week?
We don't know yet.
I know it's a rhetorical question. I wasn't expecting an
Like,
answer,
no,
but I got an answer.
Chris was sick of the question before it even came out of your mouth.
Yeah.
All right, so and moving along so that Chris doesn't get further annoyed by San Jose questions. I got a reply. So the stat is, and he did tell me to check the notes again just to double check, but I'm not going to do that. So he said the record when scoring just one goal for Reno, just one goal, is 0-5-3. So we've never won a 1-0 match this year.
Probably not. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's a hard score line to achieve. We've only had so many shutouts
All right,
this year.
so I'm changing my key to scoring 2 goals. That's kind of where I was attempting to go with that. Like somewhere, like when I heard that stat, I was like, "Oh my goodness!" So, yeah, let's score more than 1 then. Are you good with that, Chris?
I'm good with that.
Okay, because you, we gotta not use an expletive here. You pooped all over me when I.
No. I was trying to think like, okay, is that 5 ties or 3 ties?
It should. Oh, I guess that depends on the format that Kevin wrote that in.
Because I'm always wins, ties, loss. Because
Right,
it goes
yeah,
3 points,
that's what I was
1.0.
thinking. Well, I'll ask him that.
It
All right,
appears
so
to be
asking,
more losses
is
than
the
wins.
5 losses or ties? All right, cool. So we'll get some sort of reply.
Because there's a difference there, right? 5 points.
No, no, totally. I would imagine that it is 0, 5, and 3, right? But we haven't had that many 1-1 draws.
No.
Fresno.
In fact, this year we haven't had very many draws compared to like last year.
Right.
Which
Fresno, Tacoma. I'm looking at all the 1-1 draws. Am I missing one? Fresno and Tacoma for sure.
Okay.
I don't see any other 1-1 draws.
So there's another stat that's thrown out the window if you can't even find the third, fourth, or fifth. Way to go, John.
Look at Chris Malinab here, the stat buster, or fact checker, maybe probably be a better way, because it shouldn't be taking like that long for Brad to find out the how many draws, like especially since that number would be have to be 3, right? The ties would have to be 3.
Yeah, I don't know what you're looking at. Just Fresno and Tacoma.
All right,
I can
All
screen
right.
share
That's
it
enough
for
of
you.
Brad. All right. So Michael Jordan, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoa, we still got some more soccer to talk about. We got to look at around the league.
I don't know. Chris looks done.
No, I'm checking the scores.
Yeah, no, Chris is double
1-1.
fact checking. We're making
All
sure
right,
about
while you're
this.
doing that, Chris,
Tacoma 1-1.
Brad.
All right, so let's take a look at the standings around us. So Fresno lost on Saturday to Tacoma. It was 4-1. It was like 4 goals before Fresno even scored their first goal. It was absolutely a beatdown. Dylan had 2. You know, he's a better player than what the team around him is doing. Also around us, Sacramento beat a team, so they're still in 4th place, but within 6 points back, I believe. The whole middle of the table is a nightmare. 4th place, 5th place are tied with 48 points. That's Sacramento and Orange County. 6th place, 7th place, and 8th place, Real Monarch, Austin Bold, and El Paso all have 46 points. But most importantly, Fresno and us have both played 32 games. Fresno is sitting 2 points ahead of us. We are even in victories, which I believe is the first tiebreaker, and then we are even in goal differential, which I believe is the second tiebreaker. So as it stands right now, basically, if we win and Fresno drops a result, we take second place in the standings. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it is wins. That's the first tiebreaker, right?
Wins are the first tiebreakers.
Okay.
Right.
So if we're at 17 wins and Fresno draws their next game against who are they playing? LA Galaxy 2 or Orange County for that matter. In the next 2 games. If we win out and Fresno draws one of those games and wins the other for say, we get second place. And more home games.
Or a loss. I mean, if they lose.
Or if they lose. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But second place is still achievable for this team. I hope to see it. It's definitely not out of the possibility. But we got to win. You know, these are the 2 games that are important. We're going to Vegas. We're going to Tulsa. Sucks that they're both road games to end the year, but we can do it. You know, the team can do this easily. No, hopefully. I have faith.
That's all good.
I have faith.
That's all good. All right, Chris, our stat checker.
I only saw 2. I only saw 2
Yeah.
ties. I only saw 2.
Kevin, let me down, man.
When
All
can
right.
we have Kevin on the show? I want to hear this.
Oh,
you know?
we'll have Kevin on eventually.
Hey, I want to be on that. I want to be on that same show as Kevin.
Okay. Well, is there a reason?
I just want to. I like making fun of
Because
Kevin.
I think maybe we'll get Casey on. We haven't had Casey on. We'll do.
Oh, you haven't?
No, we'll do Casey and Kevin instead. Casey doesn't criticize my show, Chris.
Yet.
Yeah, yet he comes on. He's like, this show's awful. All right, so more soccer shenanigans. San Jose lost against Portland. It's kind of a bummer, but such is the way of life and in Bay Area sports. Look at the Sharks right now. No, I'm just kidding. Don't look at the Sharks. It's really bad. It's really bad. They're losing to the Predators right now, pretty bad. Chris, you look tired.
No.
You sure? Are we boring you?
No, you're boring me. Brad's not.
All right. Any other soccer talk? We got about 10 minutes, so we can talk about other shenanigans.
Trying to think. Soccer talk. Zlatan statue in Sweden. See that?
Oh, what?
Zlatan got a statue
Oh, really?
in Sweden.
How did I not see that?
Is it any better than what's his name statue at the airport? Ronaldo's statue at the airport in Portugal.
He has no shirt on in his statue.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
All right, time to look this
Let
up.
me
That's
pull
such a
this up.
Zlatan thing.
Yeah, Zlatan one is awesome.
Zlatan statue. I'm just kind of curious if it looks like him or if it looks like Ronaldo.
I'll send
he
it
looks
to
happy. Your phone's
Yeah.
a little bright, but
Oh.
you can barely see the statue.
In-
No, that's actually a pretty solid statue, though. There it goes. Yeah, now you can see it pretty perfectly. Yeah, that's solid. Do you like it, Chris?
I think it's good.
Yeah. Would you ever have somebody commission, or would you ever commission somebody to make a statue of you?
Of me? Why would someone want a statue of me?
Why not?
That'd be kind of weird.
That wasn't the question. The question was, would you?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, see? Everybody should say yes. Would you, Brad?
No.
I really feel like everybody, if somebody's like, hey, do you want us to make a free, like, bronze statue of you? Nobody's going to say no.
Can I just like pocket the bronze and like sell it for profit
I mean,
instead?
you could let them make
Sounds
a
like
statue and then try to sell that.
So, there would be one stipulation on mine.
Okay.
I'd have to be eating an ice cream cone or an ice cream sandwich.
Okay.
In my
But
statue.
you'd be down with it.
I'd be down only if I was eating.
But what if somebody said no?
Well, then I'd be like, no,
Really?
don't build a statue.
It's a free bronze statue.
No, I'd be like, hey,
so you
I
gotta
want
make it the way I want to, or it's not being made.
yeah, it's got to be something I really enjoy, that I have a
I
passion for.
respect
And eating
Not
ice cream is
soccer.
that. Much better than Brad's, who hadn't even decided yet.
No, I
You'd
said
sell it.
no.
What
I
if-
said no.
What if you had this statue commissioned, and then you could only sell it for a lot less than what it was worth, because it's now a Brad statue instead of just a bunch of bronze.
but
Yeah,
that's
I just
still
want the
more money
bronze.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess it's still
Wait.
more money than you had before.
yeah, it's more money than you had before, right?
Just no, you know,
All right.
no. We can go in what ifs and horseshoes and hand grenades all day long. I still don't want a statue of
So
myself.
fine.
And until I do something that's worthy of a statue. If I solve cancer, which
Solve
I'm nowhere
cancer.
near, yeah. If I solve cancer,
Okay. If you solve,
You know.
what about cancer needs to be solved?
cure it.
A
know,
cure. Okay. So
Yeah.
you're trying to find a cure for cancer, not solve
exactly.
Cancer. Okay,
Know,
gotcha.
but if I do
But this-
something of noteworthiness in my lifestyle, then sure, give me a statue.
Hey, what if
Um,
what if we just get like 1 million subscribers on to the YouTube?
Are you gonna promote us?
Yeah, I'll promote you guys. Get to 1 million.
Get to
Would
a
you-
million? Oh man.
1
Then
million.
that's something to note. 1 million subscribers is something of note. I will take a statue for that.
All right, so you know what this just reminded me of? Something that Kevin did. He actually showed me this, Chris. So this is legit. Las Vegas Lights were selling game-worn jerseys.
Oh, this.
Yes, for $30. And Chris, I know you have to watch what you say when it comes to another team, so you can totally plead the fifth. But here's the catch: so they sell game-worn jerseys from their athletes for $30. To buy a brand new one, not worn by a professional athlete, it's $80. So when a player who plays for the Las Vegas Lights wears a jersey, it loses $50 in value. So, boy, is that an organization that values its players.
There was a Freddie Adu jersey just sitting there, and I'm like, you know what? Everybody calls him. I don't know if I can say. You can bleep me if you got to. Fatty Adu. Just because all the rumors about him and loving the buffets down in Vegas. I would love that jersey. Although it's probably gone.
you can get that and save $50 instead of getting a new jersey. That's just crazy to me.
Hey, do you know we have a guy on our roster that played with Freddie?
Are you Brad, are you gonna respond or what?
Are you talking about Raul?
Nope.
He's looking it up.
No, I'm not looking it up. I'm looking at my main monitor that I see you guys. I'm just waiting for Chris.
Nope. I'm gonna have you guys have to figure this one out. So
what?
Yeah.
We've already been streaming for like an hour.
Yeah, we've only got like 5 minutes.
No, I'm just saying that maybe next episode.
Okay, that's fine. What, you want to be on again?
No, I don't need to be on again.
Okay, I was gonna say.
That's.
I'll happily.
I mean, after insulting my show, I don't know if I'm ever gonna have Chris. I don't know if I'm ever gonna talk to you again, Chris Malnap.
Well, that's cool. Whatever. Is that a promise or a threat? Is that a promise or a threat?
Can it be both? No. It's been fun having you, but we really are running out of time.
Okay.
And Brad really needs to know about Michael Jordan.
All right. So here's a quick thing, right? And again, this is just my thoughts. Michael Jordan retired not once but twice from the NBA. I believe that his first retirement was that because he was going to be under suspension, and David Stern said, "Look, we need you. We can't tarnish your name because you are the NBA right now. So how about you leave for a season or so, and then come back?" Because during that press conference, when he announced his retirement, he specifically said, someone asked him, "Would you ever consider coming back?" And he said, "If David Stern lets me." Why would you say that if you're retiring? That if he lets you? Yeah, conspiracy theory all over it.
So all this hype was for like one sentence at one press conference, and there's nothing else beyond that.
No, it's fact. That's why I said the 1985 frozen envelope lottery is much more.
Yes. Yes.
Do you know about the 1985 NBA draft, Brad?
Oh.
No.
Do you know who the number one pick of the 1985 NBA draft was?
I'm not gonna look it up, because I feel like you're gonna tell me.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you anyways. It's Patrick Ewing of Georgetown.
Okay.
And
the name's obvious. Okay.
Yeah. And the Knicks were struggling a bit, and so that's a major market. NBA wants them to do well. So, do you remember how they used to do the NBA draft? Now they do ping pong balls. Before they used to open up envelopes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, well, the theory is that one of the envelopes
Oh, it was cold.
was cold. So when you opened it, or when you grabbed it, you knew that was the Knicks for the number 1 pick.
Was that the same thing they did when the Cavaliers were tanking when LeBron was away? Did they still have that, or did they switch over to ping pong?
No, they switched over to ping pong balls by then.
Okay.
But at that point, it's like we don't know. Like there could be, they say like, oh, they got an 85% chance, but they really could be like a 99% chance, right? It could be the same thing, frozen ping pong ball.
Is your mind boggled, Brad?
No. I don't really subscribe to many, if any, conspiracy theories.
Oh, it sounds like you and Chris need to have like a really.
Okay, here's one real quick. How much time we got? Like 2 minutes?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, 2 minutes. Here we go. The moon landing. Okay.
Oh, tinfoil hats, go engaged.
I do believe that we landed on the moon. However, I do not believe that Neil Armstrong was the first person on the moon, because I feel that entire landing was staged. Why? Because the Russians and the Americans were going at it to try to figure out who's going to get out there first. What's the best way to do it? To document that you did it by filming it. So I think we actually did land on the moon, but later than what we publicized or published. But you couldn't celebrate that one because it was already done. The celebration already happened for something that didn't really happen.
There's just so much science about like the light on the moon, about what was available at the time. It's just easier to send them into the moon. Most importantly, though, Russian rockets could never have gotten to the moon because they're just too heavy. Like the amount of boosters they had.
On Chris's face.
Yeah, I know. It's just like. But no, it's this science on the Russian rockets where they just sucked. They were bad. They could never get people out of Earth orbit.
All right,
we
have time for conspiracy theories, but not Brad science stuff. So, all right, so let's do Brad. The camera's on you. So we're gonna have you start with random thoughts. Go for it.
I think conspiracy theories are a joke. Science is the answer. We don't have enough time apparently, and that's why people believe in conspiracy theories, because science is always, oh, we don't have time for that. That's my random thought.
All right, Chris, what's your random thought?
My random thought is, have you guys ever had pizza but with like curry on it? Indian pizza is by far the best pizza I've ever eaten.
Are you talking about? Yeah, there's just a place,
right,
Chicago
right
with a twist.
Yeah, it's freaking delicious. If you've never had it, you need to go there.
Yeah.
My roommates and I drive by it all the time, and we always joke about it. I'll have to actually go.
No, it's actually really, really good.
That sounds like bomb. It sounds different.
Yeah. So Indian food belongs on pizza. Pineapples do not belong on pizza.
Thank you. We can agree on that. Okay, good.
You know what I think belongs on pizza? Whatever I want to put on my damn pizza.
Except pineapple. Thank you very much.
That is that. All right. So God, now I'm thinking about pineapples. I did have a random thought. Oh yeah, my random thought is there is a there's a place in Fallon that has chocolate milk. I don't know if you guys are fans of chocolate milk, but there's a dairy farm in Fallon, and they make their own chocolate milk. And I have some in the fridge, but I'm too lazy to get up and go get it to show you guys. But it is really awesome. If you guys want some like really good local chocolate milk, it's obviously going to be a little bit pricier because it's local. But man, it's thick and chocolatey and just it's awesome. Check it out. I can't remember the name, but
it's really good that you can't remember it, huh?
Yeah, I know.
You have to do, Chris,
this has got to be the worst. So do not
blow your mind, Chris.
Do not sponsor John, because John will forget the product name.
I mean, they have to sponsor me. Hey, if you guys want to sponsor me, I'll never forget it again. But look up Fallon chocolate milk.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, it's not crazy. anyway, it's really amazing. I think like we bought a quart for like $5, so yeah, it's a little bit pricey, but like it's just awesome. So if you're into chocolate milk, do it. All right, where can we find you on social media, Chris?
At Chris Malinab on Twitter, Instagram. Always active on there. Obviously, sometimes post funny stuff, and then post some pretty heavy stuff as well. So if you like both, or if you like to look at food, follow me on Instagram. Instagram's the best for food because my Instagram stories are on fire with food.
That's what I was gonna say. If you're ever hungry and you just want to look at food, follow Chris Malinab. Definitely a good source from that, especially since you travel. So you don't just have local Reno food. Like you have food from you'll probably have food from somewhere in Vegas and then somewhere in Tacoma, and all this fun jazz.
You mean Tulsa?
Tulsa, sure. Tulsa, Tacoma.
They've actually got a really good donut spot. So look for the donuts there.
See, that's what I'm saying. All right, Brad, where can we find you?
All right, you can. Yeah, like dying over here. You can find me on Twitter at Pal on the Sky and Reddit. I guess Pal on the Sky. Don't really use anything else anymore.
I didn't even know.
I don't Instagram. What do you mean? Like I'm always on Reddit.
All right,
I just
so
never
you guys can follow me at John Macaluso pretty much everywhere. And dudes, if you guys are watching this right now and you haven't hit that subscribe button, you're out of your mind. Chris finally subscribed today, and it took me putting him on the show for that to happen. So for some of you guys that I can't put on the show, you gotta hit that subscribe button so that you know when we're posting episodes.
Hey, okay, real quick. How many subscribers before you get 1868 weekly tattooed on you?
You know what? I would probably never get my logo tattooed on me.
So I'm just saying, like, if we wanted to promote it, and what's the number?
I'll tell you something. It's a different thing though. If you really want to do this, I will get the 1860 Reno 1868 FC shield tattooed on me.
How many subscribers?
I'm talking just 100, dude.
100 subscribers.
Yeah, I'm talking 100, man.
All right.
Man, I see Chris buying subscriptions here.
We'll go just slightly more than that though, so that I don't seem as cheap as it might sound. We're gonna go 150. I think
150.
That's a good amount. Yeah. So
all
yeah,
right.
And you know what? I'll even get it in a pretty like open space.
Oh, let me show my biceps. Let me show my biceps here. You guys know where the beach is?
Anyway, left arm, probably like right here.
Oh, yeah, biceps.
Yeah, I'll get it in a pretty good. Shut up, Chris.
Hey, how about the neck? You should get the neck tat, bro.
That's not gonna happen.
All right, so before Chris goes to bed tonight, he's gonna create 100 alternate accounts and.
Hey, man, subscribers are subscribers. So, all right, we're going to get out of here. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. It was nice having you on. Thank you for pooping on my hosting and my made-up stats that were apparently all made up.
It's all in good fun all the time.
Oh, I know. I'm just kidding with you. But, yeah, we'll definitely have you on again. Good luck on Saturday. You better win this match. And then, Brad, what do we say to get us out of here?
All right. Thanks, you guys, for listening, and Chris for subscribing. English is hard after an hour. In Ian and Chris, we trust. And Vamos Azules! Thanks, guys.
See you guys.